take a good picture of it. The combination is good.
This is dessert.
I should.
Air conditioners are running pretty much non-stop, isn't it? Another hot day in June. I think it was this time a year or two ago. I published that Paul Beckwith reaction video where he's yelling in front of a waterfall about doom stuff, to be honest. And I was getting really stoned and choked up during that. For added dramatic effect. So the world's spinning out of control, too fast for me. I just checked the Arctic sea ice minimum, and we're trending with worst case scenario right now, our 2012 minimum. It's pretty much following it neck and neck. I just had lunch, drinking some chai tea. Girlfriend made me some tofu, General Tso's vegetable with warm vermicelli, or just thin noodle. I'm blessed. We come from completely different worlds. I'm from the suburbs in Texas, and she's from a farm in northwest Taiwan, outside this culture. And so the world is spinning out of control. That exponential thingy is pretty obvious with whatnot. The heat wave, Iran being the hottest city on earth, reaching 126 degrees. That was broken. There was over 3,000 records broken, in fact, with this recent heat wave we've had throughout the states, and which is disrupting people's sleep and mental health. Not comfortable. What's there more to say? And then, birds dropping dead out of the sky in fucking India, and the floods in Bangladesh, okay? Hundreds of thousands of people flooded, just like what we predicted. And the Wildlife Forestry Service says that the wildfires are exceeding their ability to manage them or predict them. The exponential thingy, it's happening, and loss of habitat is already accruing. I get it now. You don't have to have a bunch of credentials and degrees and publish 3-part series on your background and how you were defamed and defrauded from people. Like, shit sucks, man. You were burned. I was burned everywhere all the time, pretty much, like, since I turned 18. I've had a few golden opportunities, but that's it. It's outpacing, our projections. And I don't see gas prices aren't going to go down, apparently, unless this war in Ukraine ends, which we all know isn't going to happen for quite some time. Let's face it, Russia is not surrendering. We know that. Supply can't meet up with demand. Even if it does and it goes down, the price is going to be passed off on consumers, and it'll just keep shooting up again. So yeah, this is hurting my business, especially if you have a small fleet of trucks you're running, delivery. People aren't budging. My tips aren't getting any higher. In fact, more people are just hurting. More people don't have discretionary spending. It's so weird. It's so, that we went into COVID lockdown, no spending, and then now everybody's poor. I don't know. Call it reset or whatever. And so I get some fun comments too. Nash Hinton pointed out recently he used a climate calculator or something he found online and came out with 8 or 9 degrees Celsius of warming by the end of this century. Sure, plenty more if we get the cloud atmospheric water vapor feedback going on. That'll launch us into another couple degrees. But so basically nothing remains. It's just a fucking wasteland of all your dreams and wishes and Roe versus Wade. I don't really care. My girlfriend is tied, and I have never any intentions of having a child. If you do have a child, you're basically a terrorist. I agree. And so then, it would keep escalate. It would keep rising temperature to like, it wouldn't stabilize till like 8,000 CE, and then it would take like thousands of years to finally come back down. We're performing an insane geophysical experiment on this planet, the likes of which I've never seen in our geologic history quite so fast. And I'm certain aliens are looking down at us like with extreme humor and low self-confidence for our survivability odds. So all of you across the world, I know you're feeling the heat. Finland, Sweden, wherever, heat waves everywhere. It's extreme, man. Our habitat is basically gone. Like, we're only superficially kept alive right now by these, it's always been that way, but especially recently. We're only kept alive by this air conditioner and walls. But it's a thin veil of security. So I've been on this train for a few years now, and the first couple years were fucking rough. You know, coming up with this information, it was like going through a breakup. I wanted to tell everyone and anyone I knew, you know, my suffering. But that's the thing: if you're feeling shitty or you're suffering, then you probably act shitty, or you have different coping mechanisms. Talk therapy, that's one of them. That's essentially what I was doing, and passing that responsibility off onto other people, but which is unfair. Anyways, I don't know what I'm saying. I'm much more chill now in acceptance of our predicament. I'm not so worried about my carbon footprint all the time. Not that I really ever was, because I came to the realization pretty quick that we wouldn't even meet any targets. But yeah, good old YouTube. I had to unrecommend a whole lot of channels because they just shove it in your face, like Jack Frags and Grand Thumb. I like Hammy. He's this little Hammy. I think that's his name. His little British Gen Z kid. It's funny. He's already got 580 subscribers, which is pretty fucking quick for a year. And he's just got kind of toilet humor, but he's entertaining. Has a good accent. I'm a doomer. He talks about doomer content, so I try to tune in into what's hip, what's cool, how much of an outdated millennial, dead soul millennial I am. Whatever. You lived through the Great Depression. That's what we faced. That's what we were living through with smartphones. Much of life is repetition, doing the same thing over and over every day, trying to find joy in the little moments. That's what we're doing. Enjoying the hot water, air conditioner when it's working. The guy who's supposed to fix it suddenly went on vacation. Refrigerating would be a profound profession to choose. It'd be helpful. Also gunsmithing and refrigerating, yeah, good. And grave digging, Ikaku, if you're still here. And last but not least, someone here claims to be a geologist and says that the Tonga volcano is going to erupt and it's going to cool the planet off in the next few years, because he has a totally accurate prediction of when volcanoes erupt, because everyone always had an accurate prediction of when volcanoes erupted. No sense. I unshadow banned a few people. Thank you for your contributions. I know everyone is struggling, like no emergency savings. Gosh, everyone's hurting in their business right now, especially if you're a small business owner. But every donation helps in the bottom to keep this channel going, provide content, talk about the news. I do a lot of what Beckwith does, but I just present it in a much more abrasive, in-your-face, what have you fashion. This is the facts. Hope y'all doing well. Doomer out. What's happening on Monday? And I'll chat with you next week. Have a good weekend.